What's more intimidating than an interview? An interview where several people are interrogating you. That's right, you have now entered the panel interview stage. The panel interview is actually a great opportunity to make an impression on several interviewers at once versus relying on just one person's opinion in that single interview. Let's dive into how to ace the panel interview. What is a panel interview? The panel interview is an interview with two or more members of a hiring team. The interviewing panel could include your direct manager, an employee that works in your department, and other decision makers. As a candidate, after being vetted through resumes, cover letters, and phone interviews, a panel interview is a great opportunity to meet the bulk of the team. This type of interview format is beneficial for both the interviewers and the interviewee. As an interviewee, you'll likely get a better view of what the company culture looks like by meeting several potential team members. From the organization standpoint, a panel interview gives several members of the team a chance to hire collaboratively. While the CEO might see a fit from one skill standpoint, another panel interviewer might see a huge opportunity. Panel interviews create a group interview dynamic, which can help the entire team and the candidate enact a sort of mini test of how in-person collaboration and teamwork might look. How to prepare for a panel interview. Similar to other interview preparation, the panel interview tips will also include spending some time reflecting on your skills, matching your experience from your current job to the job you're interviewing for, understanding your biggest weaknesses, determining what you like or dislike about the company culture, and more. Plus, you'll want to do more thorough research on the company and the people you'll be interviewing. Let's dive into this more. How to succeed in a panel interview. As a candidate, a panel interview might require a little more legwork up front, but it gives you more chances to dazzle the interviewers with your preparation and know-how. Here's our 4-step process to take the dread out of a panel interview and replace it with well-researched conversation. Step 1, know the room. Research everyone who is going to be on your interview panel. If you're not sure who's going to be on the panel, reach out to your contact and ask. Use LinkedIn and the company's site to learn about each person. Try to always find a commonplace detail to connect on a personal level with your interviewer. It can be the city where you both lived, a conference you both attended, or a hobby you both share. Example, Lauren is the CEO of Career Contessa. After starting the company in 2013, she was able to develop Career Contessa into a leading resource for women at work. She recently wrote a book called Power Moves. Bonus, common personal detail. She attended the University of Oregon like me. Step 2, go old school and bring materials for everyone. Most employers will print a copy of your resume and cover letter to show to the panel beforehand. However, do not count on that. Bring copies of your resume and your cover letter to every interview and for every interviewer. This is a pretty old school requirement in this digital age, but you do not want to miss out on an opportunity because you didn't bring the printed materials. Step 3, talk to everyone. Even if one of the interviewers is very intimidating, make sure you engage with everyone. If possible, make sure you can find at least one point of connection with everyone on the panel by the time the interview is over. This is much easier to do when you have done your research up front. If you can speak about their work, experience, or how you'd envision working with or for each team member, communicate this to each member individually. And don't forget about body language like making eye contact. Pro tip, names are important. When answering a question from a specific panel member, address them by name. For example, well, that's an interesting question, Sarah. Here's how I would navigate that problem. Step 4, show your personality with a conversation starter. Never underestimate the power of a statement piece or a physical conversation starter. Consider wearing a bold patterned sweater, your, quote, lucky earrings, or a statement necklace. It may sound frivolous, especially if you're not interviewing for a fashion or accessories job, but a conversation starter can do just that. Get the interview started on a positive note. Panel interview example prompts and questions. Common panel interview questions are likely to be pretty similar to the most common interview questions and interview prompts you'd hear in a regular interview. The main difference might be questions around collaboration or teamwork, so make sure to prepare your answers for those types of questions. Tell us about yourself. Just like you gathered, quote, thoughtful details on everyone interviewing, make sure to come up with details about yourself too. It can be difficult to talk about yourself, especially at the very top of a nerve-wracking interview, which is when they tend to ask this question, of course. We have more advice on how to answer "Tell me about yourself" to get you ultra prepared to wow with your answer. Tell us about a time you collaborated successfully. The panel interview is usually used to gauge an applicant's skills when it comes to collaboration, teamwork, communication, and problem solving. Come to the panel interview prepared with success stories in regards to teamwork or collaboration. Have you led a team on a certain initiative that was successful? Are you a natural-born project manager? How would a colleague describe you? This question requires the candidate to self-reflect and talk about their interpersonal working relationships. Think about the people you work closely with and have a good relationship with. How would they describe you? Use this opportunity to talk about your greatest strengths and showcase your communication skills. Why should we hire you? To answer this question, we've got 2 words, mission statement. Before you walk into the interview, make sure you understand and are aligned with the organization's core values and mission. From there, draw out how your unique strengths and experience directly complement these values. Have you ever had a disagreement with a boss or coworker? When you get asked this question, keep in mind that the panel wants to know how you handled challenging situations. The interviewers also want to see how well you can reflect on your actions in real time. To answer this question, think about a time when your reaction to a problem was different than that of your boss or coworker. Did you two disagree of how to respond to a client? Did you disagree on ways to spend your budget? Next, describe how you overcame the disagreement and found a way to create better communication moving forward. And keep things positive when you speak about your colleagues or bosses and focus on what you learned from the experience. You can use the STAR method and make sure to demonstrate your abilities. When you use the STAR method, you describe the S for situation. Provide a brief description of the situation. T for task. Describe your role in the situation. A for action. Describe the actions you took to resolve the situation. R for result. Describe the result of your actions using quantifiable data whenever possible. Do you have any questions for us? Here's our pro tip. If you have enough time in the interview, prepare an end of interview question for each individual. Since each member of the panel has a different role in the organization, they will each have a unique perspective. Have a pointed question for each member of the panel. If you're running low on time, prioritize your most important questions. You may also follow up in an email to ask questions should time run out, which brings us to our last point. After your panel interview. If you're familiar with Career Contessa advice, you already know what we're going to say. Write a post-interview thank you note. Write a post-interview thank you note to each member of the panel. Your follow-ups play an important role in your overall interview process. If you don't have their emails because you don't have their business card, find them. You can ask the hiring manager or recruiter for that information as well. Always write a thank you note.